Good evening, students. This is Deekam Pathak from Freebirds Experiences. I welcome you all to day 6 of Fun with NCERT. So today's session will be taken by Mr. Rupesh Mandal. So without any further ado, Mr. Rupesh, please continue on with the session. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Deep. Welcome all the students once again to this wonderful session that is Fun with NCERT. Like we have already done few sessions earlier, and once again today we have started this session. So in today's session, we will be going with a new topic, that is sound. So all of us, we know like what sound is, we know how to produce sound. Okay, so we are very much familiar with what exactly is sound, but what is the science behind sound, what are the different concepts behind sound. So all those things we are going to learn today, and we will do some little bit of activities also in order to understand those concepts. So without any further delay, I'm just going into the details of the different concepts of sound. So let's get started. Fine. So sound. So as per the definition, sound is basically a form of energy produced by vibrations. Fine. So we have to understand, or we have to remember, that sound is basically a form of energy produced during or produced by some sort of vibration. So the first thing that we need to remember, what is sound? Sound is a form of energy, and how it produced by some vibrations. Fine. So we can consider any like musical instrument or anything. Like whenever we hear a sound, it is a resultant of any vibration. For example, let me take the basic example. Like I am giving this session and I am speaking. Fine. So in my throat, there is some sort of vibration I am actually producing, and based on that vibration, you can hear some sound. So if I'm stuck in, like suppose in a table like this, so some sound is actually getting produced. How this sound is getting produced? Like I am creating some vibration in some medium or with some object, so that makes sound. Fine. So sound plays an important role in our daily lives, and it also helps us in communicate with each other. So student, can you imagine, like if we don't have this property, that if we are not able to produce sound, how we will communicate? Yes, some of you may say that okay, we will be like communicate with some sign languages or some sort of signs and all by writing something. But just consider, if we stop talking, if we stop talking, then how the communication will be like difficult. Just take the example, like suppose we are texting in WhatsApp, with like there is a conversation between two friends. So you can text a lot, but when there is an intense amount of like texting is going on, fine. So we feel bored. Our hands started like paining. So in that context, what we can think, like, okay, let's put the WhatsApp here and let's start talking. So talking, by having a conversation, we can pass our information, or we can like pass our message to the other person very easily and without any delay. So that is why sound is one of the most important part in our life. Like animals also, we are human beings, we are well matured enough. In animals also, they used to produce sound, and they also communicate with sound. Take the example of dog, birds. In fact, insects, they produce sound in order to communicate. Yes, they use some sort of other communication, but they also uses the principle of sound in order to communicate with each other. Fine. So this is how sound is one of the most important part in our life. And we can say, like, sound, like we can hear a variety of sound in our surrounding. If somebody is speaking, we can hear it. If any vehicle is passing by, we can hear the vehicle sound. If any vehicle is like giving any horn, that sound also we can hear. Somebody's phone is ringing, we can hear. Some conversation is going on between 2 or 3 different person, we can also hear that. Fine. So any sort of variety of sound we can hear in our environment. Fine. So there are some examples that I have kept here. The examples are like, if you strike a school bell, it vibrates and produces sound. So all of us, we know, like during our time we have this kind of like school bells. I don't know. I suppose it's this concept is still carried in school, like ringing of bell. Fine. So when any like school is starting, we have the ringing of bell. When the school is ending, ringing of bell. During recess, ringing of bell happens. Fine. So what is actually happening over there? So you have that metal bell or a metal plate which is very hard maybe, and some sort of hammer. It may be iron or it may be wooden also. So when that hammer strikes the bell or when that hammer strikes that metal plate, it produces sound. Fine. So when the hammer strikes the bell, it actually produces some sort of vibration. And because of that vibration, we can hear the sound. That makes some sort of noise or some sort of sound which we can hear. The other examples, like when you, like between your fingers, when you suppose you plug some rubber band and you pluck it. Fine. So there also you can see some sort of vibration properly. Okay, you can hear some sound. So that is another example of like sound, like vibration is actually there. That is why sound is produced. The same principle is applied to your guitar string. So like we listen to guitar acoustic. So what is happening? The guitarist, it just plays with the guitar string and it produces vibration, and finally it causes some noise or you can say sound. And it is just up to the control of the guitarist how he or she is actually so that we can hear a wonderful music. Similarly, we can have a like concept of beating the drum. There also some sort of vibration is actually happening, and finally sound will be produced. Similarly, there are a lot of other you can say musical instrument which people has built, which people has developed, and through which different types of sounds we can produce. Some of the examples I kept here. Other musical instrument examples I kept here, like guitar, violin, drum, tabla, basuri. All these things we can have, like mouth organ is also there. So we can have this kind of musical instruments. Fine. So this is how sound is actually getting produced, and based on that we have developed this kind of musical instruments. Okay. So that one thing, the most important thing that we need to remember, that vibration is the actual cause of the sound. With respect to anything, if there is a vibration, definitely there might be a possibility of sound. Although it is not mandatory that in terms of any vibration we will be getting some noise or sound, but if there is a sound, you can say there must be a vibration. Fine. So what is vibration? Vibration is the to and fro or back and forth motion of an object. Fine. So what is vibration? Vibration is to and fro or back and forth motion of an object. So when any object is moving back and forth, or it is moving like in 2 or 4, it actually, we can say the object is actually vibrating. Fine. So whenever you try to shake any, suppose your chair, you want to shake the chair. So you are giving some sort of vibration. You want to like shake the table. You are giving some sort of vibration. So that is why that is to and fro motion. Fine. So that is vibration, and vibration is the only cause which produces sound. So let's try this particular procedure. Let's try this particular procedure of producing some sound. So I will put my camera on. So what we will do, we will try this activity. So I will stop sharing this screen so that I can get online. Yes, can you people see me? Okay. So what we need to do, we need to have this kind of rubber band or any elastic string if we have. Fine. So what we are going to do, we are going to place this kind of rubber string in between our hands, between the fingers. Okay. And we will stretch the fingers. Fine. Now, when we plug this string, to try this, when you plug this string, you can see there is some sort of vibration. Although it is very fast, it is very difficult to observe. Fine, because it is getting in rest very quickly. But at least you can feel some vibration in your fingers as well. So when you plug this string, there are some sort of vibration. That vibration definitely you will feel. Now you try to stretch the rubber band with a little more wide. It is vibrating, and if you are stretching, the sound what you can hear, it is also changing. When it is very near, the fingers are very close, so there is little vibration and sound is okay. Sound is there, but it is little low. But when you stretch this finger and if you do the same thing plugging, so you can hear a sharp noise. Fine. So this activity tells that we have created some sort of vibration, and because of that vibration, we are listening the sound. Fine. So the same thing I have mentioned in my slide. So what is happening? We were actually getting some sort of sound and the band vibrates. Why it is vibrating? Because it is giving a to or fro or back and forth motion of an object is going as called as the vibration. When a tightly stretched band is plugged, it vibrates and produces a sound. And when the object or when the band stops vibrating, it does not produce a sound. So my students, what we can conclude here that whenever there is an object and we are giving some sort of vibration to it, fine, it is giving us some sort of sound. The example that I have shown you, the same principle you can apply it on the guitar string. If you just tightening your guitar string, it is giving you some sharp noise. When you are losing it up, it is giving some less sharp sound. So that is how this kind of strings are actually producing some sort of sound. Okay. So we will do a activity. The first activity we will be doing. So in this activity, what are the things we require? We require this kind of glass, preferably the equal size, equal shape glass, and we will fill some water with different level, and we may require a wooden stick, or you can also use a spoon. Fine. So let me quickly arrange the items, then I will get online with my camera. Okay, so I kept these 3 glasses, fine, and I'm going to fill this glass with some water. So in this glass I'm not going to fill anything. In this glass I'm going to fill this glass with half water. Okay, this one I'm going to fill it to its full and final level. Hope you can see this. Fine. Now, what we are going to test, we are just going to strike each and every these glasses and we will listen the sound. Fine. So I'm just starting with this empty glass. Have any water inside it, so a lot of noise is coming. Fine. So when we are striking this glass, you can also try to hold this glass and you will be feeling some sensation over there also, some vibrating sensation. What exactly is that? It is we are getting some sensation as well, some vibrating sensation, and it is vibrating for a long time, so that is why it is producing noise for a longer time. Now let us try with this half filled glass. Okay, so you can see the difference in sound. Are you getting the difference? I hope. And let's try with the third one. So what is actually happening over here? So the glasses are same. Each glass, whatever glass I have taken, it is almost 99% it is same. Fine. The steel property is same. But what happens when I pour water at different level, its physical property got changed. Here in this glass, it doesn't contains any water. It contains half volume of water and it contains full volume of water. Fine. So now we can say all these glasses have different physical property. Basically their density. Fine. So when we are striking this empty glass, so it is only steel. Steel striking with steel and a lot of vibration is actually happening. There is no water, so lot of vibration is actually happening over here. So that is why we are getting the sound for a longer time. Now when we try with this half filled water, yes, we can hear the sound for particular time, but it is less than the previous one. Here the sound is sharp. It is like we can hear it more clearly and it lasts for long. In this glass, what happened? We filled the glass with half volume of water and it is giving the density change as compared to the previous one. Fine. And when we strike, so it is also producing sound, but it is lesser as compared to the previous one. When we struck this glass bottle, which have the full amount of water, so we can hear a lot of difference between the previous two glasses. So my students, what is the factor behind this one? That the glasses are same, but when we have the water inside the glasses in different levels, its density gets changed and finally its physical property also got changed, and because of that one we are getting different sounds. Fine. So I hope this activity is clear. You can also try this one in your home. These things are easily available and you can observe all those things. Fine. So I am stopping here. Let me go to the second activity. So what we are getting, each glass produces different sound when struck with a wooden stick or any like spoon kind of material. Fine. So this is about our first activity. The next one, the second activity, let's take a metal dish, or you can take metal plate, like steel plate also, and we will pour some water into it, and then we will have this experiment. Fine. So I'm just getting, once again, I'm just switching on my camera. Fine. Are you able to see this plate? Okay. Fine. So what I am going to do, I am going to pour some water on this plate. Fine. And I need to make this water in rest for some. We need to like observe, like there should not be any sort of movement of water in this plate. Okay. So we have to wait for a while. What I will do, my fan is actually running. I will switch off the fan so that we can have a clear view. Just a second. Because fan is also, like when the fan is working, it is also giving some sort of disturbance. I will change my camera angle so that you can have this clear view. Fine. Can you see this? So I will just keep this plate in still for some time so that it can settle down. All the water should settle down. Fine. Now, I hope you can see the plate and the water is also settled. Now, just try to hit this spoon on the plate. What is happening? We can hear some sound. Let me again struck it. We can hear some sound. Fine. Now, try to touch this plate and do the same procedure once again. Just a second. Let me touch this one and strike it once again. So when I'm striking this one and I'm holding this plate as well, I can see, or I can like sense a clear sort of like vibrating sensation in my hands. So when I'm striking, I can feel some vibration in this hand as well. Fine. And as I said, like whenever we are producing sound, there will be some sort of vibration. In some cases, we can observe the vibration as well. So here I want to show you how we can like observe the vibration as well. So when I'm striking, can you see some sort of ripples forming in the middle? Yes, I suppose. So when I'm striking, so there are some sort of ripples actually forming on this water. So here in this case, we can see that the sound is also producing and we can observe that vibration is also there. The other example that we did with this rubber band string, that also we can see that vibration is there. But here in this experiment, we can clearly see that there are some sort of vibration is actually happening. Those ripples. Fine. So in most of the cases, like when we are having this vibration, we will be having the sound. Let me switch on my fan. Okay, so let me give you another very interesting fact about the vibration, that whenever vibration is there, so whenever vibration is there, we can say that there might be a possibility of sound. But let me take the other way. Whenever sound is there, there must be vibration. But we cannot always say that if vibration is there, we must hear the sound. That we cannot say. In some cases, we can feel the vibration, but there might not be any sound we can hear. Why? Because it may be possible that the amplitude of the vibration is low in those cases. So that is why we cannot hear the sound. Fine. For example, the best example is earthquake. So what is earthquake? It basically happens when like there is some sort of tectonic activity, like two tectonic plates collided with each other, or there is some sort of movement in our like earth crust, and it causes the land mass to vibrate. So when those vibration occur, earthquake happens. But during earthquake, like, is it that we are getting some sort of sound? Yes, sound may be possible that buildings are moving because of those steels and concrete structure. You may hear some sound, but the actual place where actually the vibration took place, fine, the epicenter, in that epicenter you need not to have any sort of sound. Fine. So in most of the cases, we can hear or we can like see the vibration together. We can hear the sound and we can like see the vibration or observe the vibration. Fine. But we cannot say if there is a vibration, there will be a sound also. We cannot say like that. Fine. So in some cases, there will be vibration, but there may not be the sound. So this is our activity 2. So I'm just moving forward with my presentation. Now, next thing that we are going to learn is how human produces sound. Like I'm taking this class, how I am actually producing sound, how I am making this sound. So during our childhood, we learn, like from the baby, we start learning how to like speak in different, like it based on upon like the language we picked up. It may be English, Assamese, anything, Hindi, anything we can have. But how we learn to make noise. Fine. So the science behind is that in human sound is produced by the voice box. Fine. In human, the sound is basically produced by voice box or larynx, we can say. It is basically the upper part of the windpipe. So we have a windpipe through which we are actually like that windpipe is actually connected with our lungs, through which we are actually like breathe through our nose or through our mouth. That windpipe is actually connected, and from there we are actually taking the oxygen and releasing the carbon dioxide outside. That is the windpipe. So the upper part of the windpipe is called your larynx, which is also called as the voice box. So two vocal cords are stretched across the voice box, leaving a narrow slit. Fine. You can see the down picture. So that is basically two vocal cords are stretched. There is a very thin membrane, you can say. Fine, like rubber membrane basically. So it is stretched across the voice box, leaving only a narrow slit. So because of that particular thing, we are actually able to create the sound. How interesting. Because of that narrow slit, that stretched two films we have, basically rubber sheet or whatever you can say. So when air is passing by or going inside, so we may create some sound through it. So when the lungs forces air, the slit, it vibrates and produces the sound. So initially in my first statement, as I said, like we humans, we also produces sound, and it is also because of the vibration. So see, there is science behind. So when we are having some sort of air in our lungs, so when that air we push outside, fine, and it vibrates, when that particular, those two slits, when it vibrates, it produces sound. So this is how basically our like or like voice box or larynx, or this is how basically we can produce sound. Fine. Now you can like ask me a question, or you can think in that direction, like whenever we breathe, that time also we are pushing the air outside, and when we are actually inhaling, that time also the air is actually going inside our lungs. So why that time we are not producing any sound? It's a kind of question that may come to your mind. Yes, definitely. So when we breathe, when we inhale or exhale, so definitely air is actually going inside or going outside. But it is the control, like when we want to speak, that time only we are actually using the vocal cord to like manipulate, and that time only we are creating the vibration. Fine. So you can try in this way. You can try in this way, like suppose you are just only breathing. Fine, you can breathe. You are only breathing, just don't try to make any noise. You can do that easily. Now when you try to speak, you can also sense that some amount of air is actually coming out from your lungs and it is going out when you are speaking. Fine. Now try the other way around. When you speak, try to inhale the air inside. Can you do that? I cannot do that. Because when we speak, we are pushing the air from the lungs to the outside. And that is how we are making sound and we are actually talking. But our body or that vocal cord is not trained that when we are actually inhaling air, we can talk. Or even if you can do that, like it will produce some absurd like noise or absurd voice. The other person cannot like understand what you are actually trying to say. So this is how our mind or our human body is training the working in that way. You try this two activity. When you try to speak, you try to sense whether any air is going out from your mouth or not. You can feel that. But when you are actually inhaling the air inside your lungs, you try to speak, you may not. Fine. This is how exactly the vocal cord or voice box is actually working and how we humans are producing sound. Fine. So similarly, the other animals also produces sound. The animals like dogs, cat, horses, lion, cows also produce sound by their vocal cords like humans only. Although they have a different set of communication, they make different sounds. Okay, and in human we usually have those like communication, like language we have, sounds we created, vocabulary we have, so we have a lot of variety. But animals, they don't have those varieties. Or it may be possible that we human, we are not understanding their sound, like how they are actually communicating. But definitely they might be having some sort of communication, like communicating language with sound. Similarly, like bird produces sound with a ring of cartilage called strings. We have larynx and they have strings in their windpipe. So their voices are very much sharp. So when any bird is actually chirping around, it is producing sound, their voices are very much sharp. And it like gives you a very like pleasant experience. Similarly, insects like mosquitoes, bees, and other insects, when it flies, their wings, it is actually vibrating and produces sound. So this is how humans and how animals are actually producing sounds. Fine. So I am moving to the third activity, that is a vocal cord experiment. I named it. Fine. So we have this vocal cord experiment. We require one piece of paper. Then we need to do like some folding kind of thing. So let me arrange the paper and I will be getting back. Fine. So once again, I will stop sharing. I will fine. So I hope you can see this camera. Let me change. Yeah. Fine. So I have this paper. So what I will do, I will fold this paper and tear so that you can also have a very clear understanding. I'm just take this size of paper and try to make the edges proper in equal so that it will be what we are actually trying. We will be getting the proper result. Now try to fold this paper in these two edges. So we have folded this paper. Now what you need to do, you need to fold these edges. Fine. You need to fold these edges. Not completely, just fold with any side. So this kind of thing will happen. And we will do the other side in the same way. So how it will look like? It will look like this. It will look like this. Fine. It was like that. So I have folded this in this direction. Now what I will do, I will make a hole in the center like this. Fine. I will make a hole. If you have a scissor, it is better. But even if you don't have, not a problem. We can tear the paper in that and we can create some hole. So I have teared the paper and we have created the hole like that. Okay. So what I will do, I will place this paper with my two fingers like this. Okay, I'm just placing this paper with my two fingers like this. Okay, and what I will do, I will try to blow some air through my mouth. Okay, in this direction, where actually the hole is. So I will be blowing some air from here. Fine. So then we will observe. So can you hear that particular sound? So we can hear some sort of sound. So why this one is happening? We have kept some air, some hole, so that air can pass out from this one. So while passing, so air is actually striking this wall, and air is actually getting concentrated in this area, and it is actually causing some sort of vibration in between these two walls. Okay, once again I am just repeating. Fine. So there is some sort of vibration is actually happening between these two slits, two sheets of paper. and because of this vibration, that sound is actually passing. If I'm not folding this paper, if I'm just blowing this air, so there is no sound. Fine. But if I'm just attaching this one and doing this, so there is some sort of vibration in between this two paper sheet, and it is actually giving you a spot, like a cause of sound. This is how, this is the, with this same principle, our vocal cord, or you can say our voice box, is actually working. Fine. So in the voice box also, we are actually having this kind of membrane, or you can say a sheet. We are having some sort of slit, some space, so that we can, so that air can go inside or air can come out from that one. So some hole is actually present, and we are actually controlling, what we are actually controlling in our human body. We are actually controlling the behavior of these two sheets in our, like, vocal cord. Fine. And because of that only, so this all things is there in our human body, but we don't know what is the principle. So I hope I have made this experiment clear to you. You can hear this one. Fine. So let me proceed with my presentation. So this was the experiment we did. Okay. The next thing that we are going to understand about the propagation of sound. Fine. So sound requires a medium to propagate. Sound basically requires a medium to propagate. Fine. And sound can travel through solid, sound can travel through liquids and gases as well. But you have to remember, if it is a vacuum, sound doesn't travel. Fine. So sound requires a propagation medium in order to, like, sound basically requires a medium to propagate, and it travels in solids, in liquids and in gases, of course with different property, of course with different range. But if there is a medium, so sound propagation will be there. But if it is a complete vacuum, like space, fine, in space the sound doesn't travel. So if anything is happening in the outer world, like in the space is completely vacuum. Just in the atmosphere, until the atmosphere only we have gases and other particles. So we can say there is a
Mr. Rupesh, I think there's some problem with your microphone. We're not able to hear you. Yes, students, actually, there may be some technical issues with Mr. Rupesh's connection, so please wait still, like hold still, and Mr. Rupesh will be back. Yeah, please do wait a little bit. Students, unfortunately, I think we're suffering from a technical issue, technical difficulty of internet connectivity. So I think we'll end this session today here. And please join us next time. I think it's on September 9th, I think next. And you can get the schedule, the timetable for all the classes in the description of the Facebook stream, and you can get the link to the classes. Link to the timetable of the classes. So please join us. And unfortunately today we'll have to wrap it up because of some technical difficulties. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you had a good time, and do join us again. Thank you so much. Bye bye.